Hi, my name is Autif Kamal, and this is another video on logic and reasoning. This one is on varieties of categorization. It pertains to terms, but more specifically, it will pertain to precision in terms. You can contact me directly via Skype, autif.kamal, or via my email address, kautif@gmail.com. And when you get the chance, please check out my website, logicandreasoning.webs.com. Okay. Now, the reason why I want to talk about the different ways in which you can categorize something is not for the sake of just knowing the different ways that you can categorize something, but because if you know about the different ways you can categorize something, then you know the different ways in which an object can be specified. Because basically, to describe an object is to categorize it. Okay? So you'll notice I have two different types of spoons there. You have one wooden spoon, one salad spoon. So, for example, I could categorize a spoon by its purpose, being for soup or for salad. I could categorize a spoon based on measurement, on how much it measures, such as a teaspoon, a tablespoon. I could categorize a spoon by its material, being wooden or plastic. Okay, those are each criteria by which you can categorize a spoon, and so those are each different ways to specify the kind of spoon that something is. Okay, and at the same time, sometimes you can categorize an object in more than one way at a time. So, for example, I could have a spoon that is both a soup spoon and wooden. Okay, and that would be a way of making spoon more precise. Okay. Now, also, what I want to point out, which I'm not going to go into detail on this, but Aristotle talks about a more exhaustive list of general ways to categorize something. I don't know it by heart, and I don't think you need to. But if that's something you're interested in, I would suggest going to Wikipedia and just typing in Aristotle's categories, and you can find out more about that if you want. Okay. Now, given the ways that given how I showed you how you can pick criteria to categorize an object different ways to make a term more precise, using container, I want you to think of at least two different criteria by which you can categorize container, and then a few different types of containers you could think of that would fall under each criteria that you would choose. And how you would do that would resemble the pattern that we followed here, such as how I picked purpose as a criterion, I picked measurement as a criterion, or I picked material as a criterion. Do the same thing for that, but for container. Okay, I'll give you a moment to do that. If you need more time, you can pause the video. Otherwise, I will move on to the answers. Alright, so container, you can categorize it by its shape, being a cube or a cylinder. Hence, those are both ways that you can specify the type of container that you have. You can also categorize it by its material, again, by being metal, cardboard, or plastic. Those are different ways to specify the type of container that you have. What I didn't mention on this slideshow, but I'll tell you right now, is that you could also specify it in terms of its size. You could say small, medium, or large, and if you want it to be even more specific than that, you could state the exact measurements of like the width, the depth, the height, and so on. Okay? And that's how you can pick criteria to think of different types or different ways to categorize a term so that you're aware of the different ways that you can make a term more precise. Alright, now if you want more practice, you can go to Google. In the Google search bar, you can type in list of random objects or list of everyday objects. Then find an object that you are very familiar with. Think of a couple different criteria by which you can categorize that object. And then think of a few different types of objects which fall under each of the criteria that you've chosen. Okay? And based on your ability to do that, you'll be able to think of different ways to make a term more precise. Okay? Now in the next video, I'm going to talk about how to refer uniquely versus how to categorize. So for example, saying that Paris is a city in Europe is a way of categorizing Paris under the category a city in Europe. Whereas if you say Paris is the capital of France, you're giving a unique reference. You're saying Paris is equivalent to the capital of France because there is not another capital of France. Okay, and we'll talk about that in greater depth in the next video. Alright, thank you.